Now, joining the discussion on the same faith ticket of the governing All Progressives Congress, Kassim Afegbua, who is the former Commissioner for Information in Edo State, and Right Reverend Yemi Osinbajo, who is the coordinating chaplain of the National Christian Center, Abuja. And I start with you, Right Reverend. The debate has been ongoing, and the Christian Association of Nigeria is so angry with the governing All Progressives Congress. It says there's a lack of inclusivity in its ticket, but some other Nigerians are beginning to question why C.A.N is fixated on the APC when you have other political parties. I mean, we just had this gentleman, presidential candidate of the SDP, who left here, who's of the Christian faith, and then you have several of them like that, including that of the Labour Party. So why is there that fixation on the APC?
Yeah, the truth is that it's not a matter of anger. C.A.N is not angry, but C.A.N is concerned. And C.A.N is rightly concerned because this is the umbrella organization for over 100 million Nigerians. And therefore, decisions and policies of governments that are bound to affect their interests should interest C.A.N. I mean, it's like a father who is not interested in what happens to his children. He cannot be called a good father. And so C.A.N is concerned, and rightly so.
Okay. And I come to you, Kassim Afegbua. There's been this uproar. The presidential candidate of the APC himself has said he's focusing on Kashim Shettima because he knows him very well. He's worked with him. In fact, some of the governors of the APC are surprised that he went for him. And he said it's for the purpose of competence, someone whom he feels confident with. But there's been this uproar everywhere. I'm very sure you would have been reading lots of things being said. Isn't the party APC taking Nigerians for granted, especially those Nigerians of the Christian faith?
Well, I'm not a spokesman for the APC.
Yeah.
But I'm a Nigerian. And I find it ironic, just like the first question you ask, when people are raising dust over nothing. The first question you ask, you were talking about fixation. If people have been complaining that APC has not been performing, and they want them out of office, and they made this Muslim ticket, why are you bothered? There are other political parties.
So you mean that's an easiest way to even push the APC away from government?
There are other political parties. They present you with choices. Democracy presents you with choices. But what is key is that, just like Father Kuka said, the fact that somebody is a Muslim ticket, or a party has a Muslim ticket, does not mean that all Muslims will vote for that party. Even if it is Christian-Muslim, it doesn't mean that they will vote for that party. Even if it is Christian, it doesn't mean that all Christians will vote for that party. So I think what is important for me is that we should de-emphasize religion. De-emphasize it, talk more about the capacity of the individuals to provide solutions to our problems. We have an enormous problem. You see, we are not even discussing the right issues. We are not even asking questions.
Yeah, but inclusivity or non-inclusivity is an issue itself.
No, wait. A president of Nigeria is not president of the Muslim community. Please, let us be serious about this. If a vice president who is a Muslim by his faith is not vice president of the Muslim community, is vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Osinbajo is the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Who is saying him as the vice president of a Christian community? Nobody's seen that. The only thing that you tell me is missing will be that the villa chapel, maybe there will be nobody to be attending with this. But the wife of the president is a pastor.
The presidential
candidate is a pastor. So if you want to use that to be going there to pray, fine. You see, we should be asking questions about what are these people bringing on the table that will help us address banditry, kidnapping, insecurity, and all of these crises that are dominating our public space.
But Kassim, I want to ask you, when the founding fathers of this country decided at the goal in 1960 to have a prime minister who is of the Muslim faith and then a president, we used to have President General of the country then, who was of the Christian faith. Wasn't it to strike a balance? And some other governments continued that policy. Wasn't it for the purpose of inclusivity?
That era, it wasn't deliberate. Those things, they were not deliberate. Even during Shagari, there was nothing like deliberate. Shagari was a Muslim president. We have Ekweme. The speaker was a Christian. The Senate president was a Christian. The major positions, they were Christians. Nobody talked about that. You see, elites should not be using this religion as a gambit to railroad the masses into throwing up discussions that are not going to add value to our commonality.
Okay.
You see, we need to begin to address the critical issues that can help us develop. Sumner, Nigeria is an endangered species. What are these candidates bringing to the table? Let me see their manifesto. Let me see their program.
Well, the campaigns haven't kicked off.
Yeah.
You must have heard what he said. What was your reaction to that? That the focus should be more on what quality the candidates are bringing to the table, not their faith.
Obviously, you cannot challenge the fact that the focus should be on issues. The campaign should be issues-based. There is no contention about that. But at the same time, you are dealing with human beings. Governance is about the people. Governance is not just about infrastructure.
Including sense of belonging.
Yes. So if you are governing a people that are feeling depressed, that are feeling rejected, that are feeling that they don't belong to the system, what manner of government is that? Already, we have to focus on where we are. We are in a situation where the Christian community, I don't know about people of other faith, are already feeling a sense of high persecution.
With the killings, abductions of some Christian clerics. But that has also happened to Muslims.
Yes, I agree. But we are telling you how it affects us. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches.
So would having a vice presidential candidate
of the number
of the APC, for example, being of the Christian faith, resolve that?
In a way, yes, in the sense of how we feel, how the people feel. So you cannot take a people for granted.
Yeah, okay, now let's flip back. In the past 8 years or 7 years that we've had an Osinbajo, hasn't it deteriorated? I mean, if we have a vice president who is of the Christian faith and Christian clerics are being abducted, killed, and all of that, isn't it a failure of the individual rather than the office that he's occupying?
It could be a failure. It could be a failure of the individuals, but you are going to aggravate the situation when the people don't even have a sense of belonging. If you talk about, he's talking about the villa, you will have the vice president organizing programs in the villa, Christmas carol. Christians go there and feel they are parts of the system, part of the government. There is something about psychology of the people that you are ruling.
Values of even the presidency itself.
Yes, and so on. So you must understand that the reasons that are being given, even for the choice that we are contending with, is something that some people have felt insulted.
Okay, before I come back to Kassim now, what would assuage the Christian community at the moment? Because the choice has already been made. Are you going for, will Christians be saying that if the APC wins, maybe you should go for a Senate president who's a Christian and then a speaker who's a Christian? Because we have seen that under this APC government, the president is a Muslim, the vice president is a Christian, the speaker, the Senate president is a Muslim, the speaker is a Muslim. Can we now, are you saying that if it is flipped?
No.
And we have 2-2, that can assuage the feelings?
That is not what we are saying.
Okay.
The point is the decision has already been taken, and we owe our leaders, our political leaders, a duty to speak truth to power. We have expressed in no mean terms the feelings of the Christian community that it looks like you don't feel we are in existence. You don't feel we are supposed to be part and parcel of government. It doesn't change any situation because, like he said, that shouldn't be our focus. We have choices.
Okay.
About 16 presidential candidates in the marketplace. So the Christian community have a choice to make.
Okay.
What they feel will be in their overall best interest and the overall best interest of Nigeria. Because we have to talk about Nigeria, we have to talk about the unity of Nigeria. Any attempt to deepen the current fault lines that we are having is what the Christian community is advising against.
Okay, and I come to you, Kassim. How do you think this bubble can, be settled at the moment? And why do you think that a strategic politician like Bola Tinubu could have made what some people are calling a strategic error like this?
There's nothing like strategic error. We need to get serious with our discussions,
Well, in the public space, people are saying that if you have a Boss Mustafa who's in the APC, like Simon Lalong and all of that, how could he not have seen them?
We are talking about politics. We are talking about politics. And what defines you as a politician running for an election is where you can get votes. You have a scenario, in practical terms, the VP's position slated for the North by virtue of a Southern candidate, isn't it? Whether you compute your demographics and all of that, Christians are minority in the North. That is the home truth.
Well, some clerics
are
disputing that.
Please wait. Let us not pretend about this. Please, getting serious. Now, if I am in a position to advise you, and for a man who wants to get votes, I will look for the easier route. And the easier route is the Muslim North. That is the basic truth. But because our elites are always playing up the sentiments of religion and what have you, it will always become an issue. If you had picked a Christian North, you will still be sitting down here discussing the issues. We are fond of discussing issues.
Yeah, and you have raised a very good point. Let me just ask you this. You raise a critical point, because even when President Buhari chose Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, some people in the Christian community still refuse to vote for the APC.
Thank you.
Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying, that's part of it. I'm also saying that the fact that they are both Muslim does not mean that all Muslim community are going to vote for them. No. But the point is, what should be a common denominator is how we can eliminate poverty, hunger. 100 million Nigerians are suffering and all of that. So the unity people are talking about is relative. Professor Yemi Osinbajo is a pastor of Redeemed Church. There are people who don't recognize that he belongs to the Christian faith. The Orthodox ones don't also look at him that, no, these are contemporary Protestants, But when you talk about nation building, I was thinking that people would dwell more on whether these persons who are coming, whether they can represent the feelings and aspirations of Nigerians by virtue of the policies and programs they will put on the table. They will begin to interrogate them. I understand that sense of inclusivity you are talking about, but I've also asked you the question, does a vice presidential candidate represent the Christian community? Are you saying that President Osinbajo is the vice presidential candidate representing the Christian community? He's representing Nigerians.
Yes, I'm very sure. Anywhere he goes outside the world, where he sees
those who are working with him are both Christians and Muslims. Those who are working with him. So we should be looking at the larger picture of the country. I understand that the country is heavily polarized. The function of the president's, the current president's lack of competence and all that, it's not because he's a Muslim. He's just an individual.
Oh, okay. Now, there's this Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC, and all of that, where all of you meet and discuss. When issues like this come up, how would you be presenting a common front on these issues? Because it's beginning to take a dimension that even some people are saying that if it's not well managed by the politicians, it could lead to security issues for the country, and we already have enough on our hands.
Obviously, the NIREC deals with issues like this, and they have a way of speaking to authorities. And as you know, the Sultan and the president of C.A.N are co-chairs of NIREC, and they've just finished a meeting recently in Ibadan. And when they finish, they come up with resolutions that they take to government. And the real issue is whether government do listen to the things they bring to them. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken us so long in time to have reject the security architecture, so to say, because at one point it was a thorny issue in NIREC that both sides were not comfortable that we're having head of security units in the country from one side of the faith. And C.A.N spoke to this very seriously, and even the Sultan, together with C.A.N, address the issue, because whether you like it or not, you cannot talk about nation building without being sensitive to the feelings and the yearnings of the people.
Yeah, and I want to pose the same question I asked him earlier. Do you think this is a strategic error by the presidential candidate of the governing party, the APC?
Well, that is strictly their own problem, as far as I'm concerned. If they have made an error, they will have to pay for it. If they have done a proper strategic thinking, they will reap the benefit. But for us in C.A.N, we feel that this is an affront on the sensitivity, the unity, and the inclusiveness that should be brought to the table. And we are at a time in Nigeria where political leaders should speak to unity, should speak to inclusiveness, should speak to bringing us together to work as one nation. Any attempts, well, if they made a mistake, that is their own cup of tea. It's not my place. It's not my place.
I mean, you're a cleric and not a politician. I should try to round off this conversation. Let me give you room to just finalize. What do you think we should do at the moment in terms of using the focus on religion, and especially region? You were one of those who pushed for region, but others are pushing for religion. How do we de-emphasize all of this and the Nigeria of our dreams?
You see, I will want people at their level, leadership level of C.A.N or any other faith-based organizations, to look more, do more as patriotic citizens who are concerned about the endangered nature of the country by speaking accurately to issues. How do I mean? You see, poverty does not know religion in Nigeria. Our people are poor. Hunger does not know religion. The alms beggar, the beggars on the street who are begging for alms, they don't know religion. They ask you whether you are Christian, you are Muslim, they ask you for alms. Our problems are endemic. Both Christianity, both Islam, both traditionalists, Olokun worshippers, Shango worshippers, and all of them. Nobody is talking about all of those other religions. We just look at all these two foreign ones.
Of course, there was Malcolm who went to the Supreme Court.
Yes, everybody's just talking about these two foreign religions. So the point is, those ones are also entitled, because that is what is traditional to us. They're also entitled to be had or to be included if you want to put it that way.
Because some of them actually say these are foreign imported religions, and that no one is talking so much about them.
So now we should not be talking about Christian persecution. It is that to me is not empirical. Because
when you see when you see the number of dead clerics being abducted, if you've been reading the news in the past 3 to 4 weeks, you've seen lots of clerics being abducted.
Please wait. Islamic clerics have been adopted.
Yes.
Train attack. Almost 90% of those who were adopted are Muslims. So what are you going to say? Mosques have been bombed. They've killed people. All these places where you have crisis up north, they are predominantly Muslim
but
community.
When they say that, they are only expressing the feelings of their
Zamfara State is predominantly a Muslim community. All the killings in those places. One day, 200 will be killed, another. So please, we should be talking about the sanctity of the human life. And we should not be detained by the faith he preaches. A criminal is a criminal. We should be so defined. A bandit is a bandit. It should be so defined. What do we do to rein in those bandits, kidnappers, to make the society safe for both Christians and
Now, one last shot. What do we do to stop politicians from politicizing religion?
No, we are not the one politicizing it.
Well, by your choices. By their choices.
Tinubu chose a man. He said his respect for religion is absolute. His respect for religion is absolute. But he chose a man who, in his own estimation, says he will be able to deputize for him on the affairs of state. Now allow him to get to government if by peradventure he wins, and see whether he's going to actually play the role of a president of a Muslim community or a president of the Nigerian of the larger Nigerian interest.
All right, we must thank you so much. Kassim Afegbua is a former commissioner for information in Edo State.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for providing a very clear perspective. And then Father Ukpoho, I got it right this time around. Reverend Ini Ukpoho. We must thank you so much for joining us. You're of the Christian Association of Nigeria at the National Secretariat here in Abuja. We must thank you, and thank you for the good job you're doing in helping to moderate the conversation, so that you also let people know that there are opportunities in case they don't want to go with that of the governing APC. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Summer Samuel.